The classes of Dungeons & Dragons all come with a variety of class features that give you special abilities, enhanced attacks, and magical effects. Some features are minor things, or they more add to the flavor of the character. Some class features are actually not that great. Many of them are quite good, and a select number of them are outright incredible. Certain features are so potent, so useful, so creative that they are in an elite category of their own. And those are the class features that we're going to take a look at here. These are the shining gems of the 5th edition classes. For the purpose of this ranking, I'm not including spell casting or looking at individual spells. That's just too much of its own thing. I will include features that alter your spells or give you additional spells, just not the actual spell casting itself. I will give a quick disclaimer that it is very difficult to rank order these features, because they're all so good. Every single one of them on this list is amazing. I'm largely basing this ranking upon my own experience. I've been playing and DMing 5e a lot, like an average of 1 to 3 times per week since 2015. If I leave out a feature that you think really needs to be on this list, make sure to let me know in the comments. I'm sure there are a few that I overlooked. So, let's jump in. Number 25, Channel Divinity, Turn Undead for the Cleric. Starting things off, we have Turn Undead. That's probably the most situational of the class features on this list, as it only functions against undead monsters. However, there are a ton of undead in D&D, and pulling off a successful turn scatters the ghoulish enemies, sending them fleeing from you. It can completely turn the tables in the battle. Number 24, Hurl Through Hell for the Warlock. This higher level Warlock ability does not have a saving throw to negate it. You simply apply it when you hit an enemy with an attack. The creature disappears into hell for a round, then comes back at the end of your next turn when it takes 10d10 psychic damage, again with no saving throw to reduce or avoid that much pain. The only drawback here is that it does not function against fiends. Number 23, Portent for the Wizard. This allows diviners to alter fate, aka the dice rolls, to make allies succeed and enemies fail. Depending upon what you roll on your 2 Portent dice, you can potentially ruin a monster's day, or maybe give a critical hit to one of your allies' attacks. The only slight drawback is if your Portent rolls come up with medium value numbers, it may not have such an impact, but even those can be useful, just not as much as the extremes. Number 22, Expertise for both Rogue and Bard. Expertise is a way for rogues and bards to be very, very good at certain skills. Ability checks occur all the time in D&D, from perception and investigation to stealth and athletics to arcana and thieves' tools. The result that you get on your d20 roll largely determines success or failure within the bounded math of 5e, but expertise really sets you on a level above that. Number 21, Hound of Ill Omen for the Sorcerer. This is one of those rare, amazing class features that is a perfect mixture of style, theme, and mechanics. You're able to summon a Shadow Hound with a bonus action and 3 sorcery points. Its stats are like a dire wolf, and it seeks out and attacks one target creature that you designate. The target also has disadvantage against your spells while your Shadow Hound is adjacent to it. That's really what makes this feature incredible. Considering just how crippling many spells can be, anything that makes enemies worse at their saving throws against your spells is very strong. Number 20, Combat Superiority for the Fighter. The main feature of the Battlemaster Fighter has a variety of combat maneuvers, some of which are just excellent. Disarming attack can ruin an enemy warrior's ability to fight effectively. Menacing attack imposes Frightened, which is a particularly effective, especially if you have polearm and you're using it against an enemy that relies on melee. Riposte lets you attack someone who just hit you. Trip attack knocks an enemy prone. It can even be used to shoot flying creatures out of the air. What makes Combat Superiority so good is that the maneuvers add additional damage to the attacks, and you regain it all every single short rest. Number 19, Magic Item Savant for the Artificer. One of the limitations on magic items is that you can only attune to 3 of them at a time, and lots of powerful items require attunement. At 10th level Artificer, you can attune up to 4 magic items, as well as quickly craft common and uncommon magic items for only half their market value. But it's really at 14th level when things get much better. Magic Item Savant comes online, and that allows you to attune up to 5 magic items, and you ignore all class, race, and level restrictions on magic items. There are some immensely powerful magic items out there, and being able to use them all, as well as to attune to 5 of them simultaneously, is a huge advantage. Number 18, Illusory Reality for the Wizard. One of the most creative and potent wizard features for the School of Illusion is Illusory Reality. It allows you to make your illusions real for 1 minute. Anything that you can concoct in your mind, you can form with an illusion spell and spend merely a bonus action to get 10 rounds of it physically manifesting. You are limited to creating inanimate objects, and you cannot directly harm creatures with the illusions turned to reality, but still, the potential is just vast. From an adamantine cube that traps in an enemy, to a perfect barrier that protects you and your allies while you sling spells and arrows at your foes. You could make a handful of diamonds that you can use to swindle an NPC or trick a villain. The possibilities are just endless. Number 17, Infuse Item for the Artificer. Artificers are masters of magic items, as we've seen, and starting at just 2nd level, they can turn non-magical items into magic items. Make armor and weapons magical, turn a regular bag into a bag of holding, make a repeating heavy crossbow, or a large variety of different wondrous items or magic rings. There are lots of options, and your number of infusions, as well as their power level, scales up with you the whole time as you're advancing with the class. Number 16, Shadow Step for the Monk. High mobility is very powerful during both combat and exploration. The Monk is one of the most consistently mobile classes, and the Shadow Monk in particular is at the very top of this. It can teleport up to 60 feet as a bonus action, as long as you begin and end in dim light or darkness. To make things even better, after you Shadow Step, your next melee attack that turn gains advantage. This teleportation is at will and costs 0 key points. Number 15, Divine Smite for the Paladin. Paladins are good at many things, defense, healing, and offense too. Divine Smite allows you to expend a spell slot when you hit with a melee weapon attack and deal additional damage. It starts at 2d8 radiant damage for a 1st level slot and goes up by 1d8 for each higher slot level. If the target is an undead or a fiend, you deal an additional 1d8 damage. The best part is that you choose to deal the smite after you've already hit, which means paladins will often use this with a critical hit to double the smite damage dice and deal an intense amount of damage. Number 14, Eldritch Invocations for the Warlock. Starting early on, Warlocks begin to accrue Eldritch Invocations, which provide a wealth of choices. They provide all kinds of different benefits to you. Some are enhancements, some function like feats, others give you new spells or other magical abilities. There are too many great options to list here, but some fantastic choices include things like Agonizing Blast, that adds your charisma modifier to the damage roll of each Eldritch Blast ray that you cast, or Repelling Blast, that knocks the target back 10 feet, again for each ray of your Eldritch Blast that hits it. And how about Devil's Sight? It gives you 120 feet of dark vision. It can see through even magical darkness, such as the Darkness spell, which you will definitely be casting to combo with this. Number 13, Aura of Protection, Paladin. As long as you are conscious, you and all allies within 10 feet of you gain a bonus to all saving throws equal to your charisma modifier. At 6th level, this will most likely be a +2 or a +3. That's already great. It could potentially be higher, and at later levels, it will most certainly be higher. The aura also goes up to 30 feet at 18th level. This is possibly the best saving throw class feature in all of 5e. Its only slight drawback is that allies need to stay close to you for them to benefit from it. Number 12, Unsettling Words for the Bard. As early as 3rd level, an Eloquence Bard can use a bonus action to target a creature within 60 feet. You roll your Bardic Inspiration die and subtract the result from the target's next saving throw that it makes before the end of your next turn. This is one of the best features in the game for increasing the chances that your enemy is going to fail its save against one of your spells, most likely one of your most powerful spells. Number 11, Stunning Strike for the Monk. Arguably, the most powerful feature of the Monk class is Stunning Strike. When you hit a creature with a melee attack, you can expend 1 key point to stun it until the end of your next turn, unless it succeeds on a Constitution saving throw. Keep in mind that you regain all your key points on just a short rest. Even if you rule that monsters with magic resistance gain advantage against Stunning Strike on their saving throw, the monk is still going to be stunning a lot and often. Stunned is one of the most debilitating conditions in the game, rendering the target unable to act or move at all, and while stunned, it automatically fails strength and dexterity saving throws, and all attacks against it have advantage. We're about to reach the final top 10 D&D class features in 5th edition, and we have already seen some amazing options for a variety of different classes. If you would like to add even more variety to your game, make sure to check out Esper's Emporium of Esoterica. It's a massive tome of options for both players and game masters. It has subclasses, feats, spells, magic items, races, even a whole new class, the Paragon. There are tons of traps and skill challenges for GMs to spice up their dungeons, as well as magic shops and colorful NPCs. And it also has a huge bestiary with 170 new monsters that have dynamic combat abilities and adventure-fueling lore. The Emporium is now available in hardcover while the supplies last, and it's also available in PDF. I don't think those supplies will run out. Just follow the link in the video description down below to get your copy today. Along with the Emporium, I just released a companion product called Esoteric Encounters. It's a digital package of 14 maps that you can use on virtual tabletops, or you can print it at home black and white. It comes along with a 50-page PDF of encounters and short adventures using those maps, along with monsters from the Emporium. You also get digital tokens for those monsters. So if you enjoy my videos, and you want to show your support while getting some really cool adventurous content for you to delve into, look into Esoteric Encounters. And now we come to the best of the best. As I mentioned, all the class features in this ranking are phenomenal, and these final 10 are the most stellar of them all in terms of how effective, how powerful, and how fun they are. Number 10, Ability Score Improvement for the Fighter and the Rogue. All classes get an increase to ability scores, or feat, every 4 levels. The Fighter class gains 2 additional instances of these along the way, and the Rogue gets 1 additional instance. In effect, this most likely gives you additional feats, which are somewhat hard to come by in 5e due to them competing with the ability score increases. Many feats in this edition are so powerful and so flavorful that just getting 1 or 2 extra can truly be character defining. Number 9, Totem Spirit, Bear for the Barbarian. The most well-known of the Barbarian class are those that have the Bear Totem Spirit, and for a good reason. While raging, you resist all damage types except Psychic. It is tremendous. You are essentially doubling your hit points on top of all the other boosts to power that you receive while you're raging. Number 8, Extra Attack for the Fighter. Many classes get extra attack. Barbarian, Ranger, Paladin, Monk, even certain Bards and Warlocks do. But the Fighter goes further, getting 2 extra attacks at 11th level and 3 extra attacks at 20th level. When it comes to class features that give a warrior consistent, round-by-round weapon damage, this is the best. Number 7, Rage for the Barbarian. Rage does have some limitations, only lasts for a minute. You have to stay engaged in combat, and if you get knocked out, your rage ends. But as anyone who's played a barbarian can tell you, these stipulations are usually not much of a problem at all, as you are going to be leaping from foe to foe in the thick of battle, dealing extra damage, bashing through barriers, and resisting all bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage, essentially all weapon damage, which is by far the most common type of damage in the game. Rage is just such a powerful feature, and you get it right off the bat at first level. The sheer thrill of playing such a force of raw primal power, throwing yourself headfirst at danger, really is one of the most exhilarating experiences that you can have as a player. Number 6, METAMAGIC for the Sorcerer. Wizards have the ability to learn and master the widest variety of arcane spells, but sorcerers can craft and transform spells using their own innate abilities. METAMAGIC allows you to alter your spells on the fly by spending sorcery points. You gain 2 METAMAGIC options at 3rd level, and later gain another one at 10th and 17th levels. These include all kinds of wonderful options such as casting a Quicken spell as a bonus action, imposing disadvantage on an enemy save with a Heighten spell, affecting 2 creatures instead of 1 with Twin spell, casting without any verbal sounds or gestures, re-rolling damage dice, changing damage types from one element to another, and more. This is one of the funnest, most versatile, most effective ways to cast spells in 5e. Number 5, Bardic Inspiration. Right out of the gates, bards gain the signature class feature Bardic Inspiration. As a bonus action, you can inspire someone within 60 feet of you with words or singing. You give that character a d6, which they can later spend, rolling it and adding the bonus to an attack roll, ability check, or saving throw. As you increase in level, you can use Bardic Inspiration more often, and the inspiration die increases to a d8, then d10, and finally d12. This is the most all-around useful support feature in the whole game. Number 4, Cunning Action for the Rogue. While bards have some great ways to enhance their whole party, the rogue has some great ways to do things in his own way. Cunning Action lets you use a bonus action to disengage, hide, or dash. These options anyone can do as a standard action, and given the right situation, they can be quite useful. But rogues can do better than anyone else. You can get out of dangerous melee situations, you can sneak, you can take extra moves more consistently and faster than anyone else. Sure, spellcasters can do these things better with magic, but they have to use their precious spell slots to do so, and they pretty much always have to spend a standard action to cast, while rogues can do these things at will every round, every encounter as a bonus action. Number 3, Magical Secrets for the Bard. At 10th level, the Bard can learn 2 spells from any class's spell list. You get this again at 18th level, and if you are a lore Bard, you also get 2 such spells at just 6th level. The possibilities here are just incredible because they are any spells of a level you can cast, and you are a full caster. Get the Druid's Conjure Animals and the Wizard's Counterspell, or how about Polymorph and Fly, or Simulacrum and Meteor Swarm, or better yet at 18th level get Wish, which it itself can replicate any spell of 8th level or lower. It's just hard to overstate how amazing and how creatively inspiring Magical Secrets is. Number 2, Action Surge, Fighter. Once per short rest, you can take an extra action on your turn. It's so simple, yet so amazing. At merely 2nd level Fighter, you begin breaking the constraints of the action economy of the game. And at 17th level, you can use this twice per short rest. This feature is awesome for fighters, who typically use it to take the attack action twice on a turn, and once extra attack comes online, it just gets that much better. This feature is also awesome for characters who multi-class into fighter. Again, it only takes 2 levels in the class to get to Action Surge. A spellcaster with Action Surge can cast 2 full spells on the same turn, something which is otherwise unheard of. Even a sorcerer using Quicken spell is limited because he uses a bonus action to cast the Quicken spell, which means the only other spell he can cast that round is a cantrip. But not with Action Surge. You can use 2 standard actions to cast 2 spells of any level. So go ahead, fireball, fireball, or hold monster to paralyze the target, then cast disintegrate. They will automatically fail their save. If you want to play a hero who goes beyond the normal bounds of what is possible, fighter or multi-class fighter is the way to go. And now, at the top of the class features ranking, we have number 1, Wild Shape for the Druid. This tremendous class feature will have you reading it multiple times. It's partially because it's a complex one, but it's also because it's hard to believe how good it is. You're going to be double checking that your eyes are seeing what they are actually seeing. It allows you to assume the form of a beast, anything that your character knows of. It starts off fairly limited, but as you gain levels, you can turn into stronger animals. It's even better if you are a moon druid, as you can become even stronger animals, and you can wild shape as just a bonus action. The possibilities are essentially endless here. Become a bear, a direwolf, or other such powerful combat beast. Become a dog, a cat, a horse. Take up the role of a spy that no NPC will suspect. How about a tiny spider to sneak around, climb along ceilings, and scout out virtually any location? Or a giant spider that can trap foes in its webs. At 4th level, you can start using swimming, water-breathing animals, and at 8th level, you can start using flying animals. The potential just goes on and on. There are animals for every kind of need and situation. But it gets even better. While you are in the animal form, you are using the animal's hit points. Once those get dropped to 0, you simply revert back to your normal form, returning to your actual hit points. The extra damage does carry over onto your normal form's hit points, but the amount of damage that your animal form meat shields can absorb is just incredible. I cannot believe this feature got designed this way. So there you have it, the all-around powerhouse feature that is perfect for combat, exploration, scouting, travel, and spying, and it gives you a ridiculous amount of hit points, and you get to use it 2 times every short rest. It doesn't get any better than that. An interesting detail worth noting about these top class features is that many of them are so low level. 5 come at 3rd level, 9 come at 2nd level, and 2 come at just 1st level. So well over half of the top 25 class features are in just the first 3 levels of the game. While there are lots of great features at other levels, it's kind of baffling why so many of the higher level features are underwhelming or just don't quite stack up. Spells are not this way. For the most part, they objectively get stronger and stronger the higher the spell level. But class features do not necessarily follow this structure. Look at the Bear Totem Barbarian. At 3rd level, you begin to resist all damage types except Psychic while you rage. At 6th level, your carrying capacity doubles, and you have advantage on strength checks to push, pull, lift, or break objects. The later feature is of course useful, but the 3rd level feature is a stronger effect. The fighter gains extra attack at 5th level, and every single turn can make 1 extra attack. Then at 9th level you get Indomitable, which lets you reroll a failed saving throw once per long rest. There are so many examples like these and they just don't make sense. 5e is an amazing game overall, but there are quirks that you will notice the more you become familiar with the system. The last note I want to leave you with is just because a class feature isn't necessarily one of the most powerful does not mean that it's worthless or that you are wrong for choosing it. Sometimes you're more interested in the flavor or the theme. It's interesting and it's fun because it helps you portray a certain kind of character. It's cool to have a powerful character, yes, of course, but if you have to decide between interesting and powerful, I would suggest interesting. Thank you as always for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. May your characters be mighty and majestic, and may your adventures be many.